And just like that, FC Barcelona has concluded preseason, and honestly, what a preseason we saw. 20 goals, an average of 5 goals per game, and FC Barcelona, Hansi Flick's team, I think we're ready. Mallorca away for the first game of the season. And in today's video, I want to speak about the 5 things that we learned from the preseason in the Joan Gamper game and also the Asian preseason tour. Because, guys, I feel like there's a lot of positives, right? A few negatives, but a lot of positive. When you score 20 goals, it's hard to get too many negatives. Make sure to smash up the likes and also to subscribe to the channel, guys. Honestly, I really appreciate when you smash the likes, get in the comment section, subscribe, do all of the above. But let's get straight into it, because the first thing that I do want to speak about is actually La Masia. La Masia for Barcelona is the gift that keeps on giving. Where would Barcelona be without La Masia? Honestly, with all the financial restraints, I think that Barcelona, we are so blessed to have La Masia. And in this preseason, right, especially in the Asian tour, when the youngsters like Dro, Tony Fernandez, Joffrey, all these kids got their opportunities, right? And I feel like that some of these kids had big moments, like Dro in the opening game, a game winner. What a volley he scored. What a goal. Que golazo. Dro Fernandez, he's going to be apparently, according to reports, in and around the first team. I'm going to be interested if Barcelona play bottom of the table, or maybe a Copa del Rey game. And then we have Tony Fernandez, who in my opinion was the best youngster out of the lot. I think Tony Fernandez was that good. The goal that he scored against Daegu, what a team goal with Dani Olmo, right, and Rashford combining. And Tony Fernandez, this kid's link-up play, he's so technically competent. I think technically wise, he's already good enough to play for FC Barcelona. It's just that physically, I don't know if he has it. But Hansi Flick, there's a reason why he speaks so highly about this kid. And Tony Fernandez, I do believe that he's a bit ahead of Goulet, his cousin. But Tony, once again, he's so versatile, right? He kind of reminds me of a young Antoine Griezmann, right? At Real Sociedad, at Atletico, when he first made the move. Tony Fernandez, he has a future here. He's just very unlucky that we have Lamine Yamal, who's in the same age bracket. And also, we just signed Ronnie Barkley. Tony Fernandez, though, one to watch in the future. But I got to speak about the one that I do believe is going to actually be in the first team, and that is Joffrey. For good or for bad, because Inigo Martinez, as we all know, he left the team. He's not on the roster. He's in Saudi Arabia. And what that means is that Gerard Martin is going to be the left center back, and Joffrey is going to be the backup left back to Alejandro Balde. So Joffrey, I feel like out of the 3 youngsters, right, who really got a shot, I think Joffrey's already in the team. And I think Joffrey, he's an athlete. You know, he's good technically. Nobody could say that he played bad. In my opinion, he never looked out of place. And let's see, with more minutes under his belt as the backup to Alejandro Balde. And this takes us to my next point, which is the squad depth. FC Barcelona finally have squad depth. Guys, we finally have some squad depth. FC Barcelona with the signings of Ronnie Barkley, Rashford, Jan Garcia, and Joffrey, who will be promoted, right? FC Barcelona, for the first time, it looks like they have 2 players for every position, right? I know left center back, Gerard Martin, are we trusting that? Joffrey, are we trusting? It is a big gamble to take. But outside of that, FC Barcelona, I'm confident every other part of our squad. Right back, Koundé, Eric Garcia, right? Center back, you got Araujo, Christensen, Cabarsi. You got guys there. And then in the midfield, need I say less? We have so many midfielders that can step in. The number 10, Dani Olmo or Fermin, pick your poison. You know what I'm saying? It looks very good. The squad depth by FC Barcelona, this is the best squad depth I've seen in years, and you're giving it to Hansi Flick, who is a serious manager, guys. I just had to point it out. It's the first time I felt this way in a long time. And the next thing that I want to talk about is Lamine Yamal and Gavi's improvement. Both of these guys amongst the best performance in the preseason, but I feel like Lamine Yamal and Gavi, it's more than that. Gavi, let's start with him. Off the ACL, Gavi last season was up and down. You know, not always starting. It made sense off an ACL. Hansi Flick was very reluctant to give Gavi 100% all the games that he was playing. But Gavi now, he looks better than ever. He's pitching in with goals. That's even more than I was asking from. But Gavi looks way better. This preseason, he looks sharp. He looks like he's fully forgotten about the ACL. And maybe Gavi, I was one of the guys that was about to be out on Gavi and maybe said potentially sell him. But you know what? Gavi's proven me wrong this preseason, and I'm excited to see what he's going to offer in the season. But let's speak about Lamine. Lamine Yamal not only is looking like a scoring threat, he looks stronger than ever. He looks faster than ever. Lamine Yamal physically is stronger and faster than ever. He is getting to his spot whenever he wants to shoot the ball, and that is why he's scoring, because he's a bit stronger, he's a bit faster, finisher, and the technique was always there. This guy, they used to poke fun of him. The goal scoring output wasn't there. Well, guess what? He's going to punish the rest of Europe for, honestly, maybe even a decade, right? When I say getting to your spot, what I mean by that is look at Iron Robin, Lionel Messi, the way that they got to their spot when they were scoring goals. Lamine Yamal is starting to get that explosiveness, that pure strength, right? That little bit of speed, that burst of speed that he needed sometimes to get a clean shot. Lamine Yamal has finally got that. He's getting into his man body, and I think Lamine Yamal, you know what? He's scoring over 20 goals easily. Matter of fact, in the middle of the season, he might already have over 15. Legitimately, I'm that confident in Lamine Yamal's potential in goal scoring, right? But I do want to move on and speak about another goal scorer that we added to the team, Marcus Rashford, because he's looked very promising. He only scored one goal. He had that disastrous miss, but Rashford is adding a dynamic to FC Barcelona as a striker that we did not have. A striker that's dropping deep, and he has a real pace. We saw on that Rafinha goal in the Joan Gamper game. Wow. Marcus Rashford, he added that part to his game. I didn't know that he can drop in deep. And the pure pace that he has, it's actually frightening. I like to look at overall performances. And Marcus Rashford, what he showed me in preseason, what he can do getting into those positions that's dangerous to score, right? I feel like a lot of times Ronnie Barkley or Rafinha were shooting, right? Marcus Rashford, one thing that I do got to say, he has to be a bit more selfish. It looks like at times Marcus Rashford is trying to be a nice guy, trying to fit in, giving Rafinha goals, giving Ronnie Barkley goals. No, Marcus Rashford, that's the one thing. You got to be a bit more selfish. There's a reason why Hansi Flick was always a guy, you know what? Deco, Jan Laporta, if Rashford's the winger that I'm going to get, I'm absolutely fine with it because I think Hansi Flick has a plan for him. As a striker, right, as a left winger, and the best way to say it, simply put, is that Marcus Rashford, the positions, the areas that he was picking up, there's a lot of potential in there. Potential goals, potential assists. And Marcus Rashford, I believe that Hansi Flick, you're working with the best offensive manager in the world, an elite man manager. I think he's going to get Rashford firing. And you know what? I see the potential goals and assists there. But I do want to move on to the last point, which is the defense, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly with the high line. Because the high line, right, in the last two games against Daegu and also against Como was actually pretty solid. I thought, especially against Como, the pressing in the high line was on point. Wow, we saw the execution of the high line, what you can do, how dangerous and how efficient it is when it's working at the best, when the whole team is understanding when to press, how to press. We even saw Lamine Yamal tap in with Rafinha's good pressing. Fermin Lopez got to go off of good pressing. I think the high line, that was the good side, right? Earlier on in the preseason against Vissel Kobe, against FC Seoul, we saw moments where the high line was exploited. It felt like a basketball game, end to end, with Barcelona and FC Seoul, and that cannot happen against higher quality teams, right? We saw against Inter Milan, we got punished, right? And ultimately, I just don't know. I think it's going to be, once again, an up and down season with the high line. If Hansi Flick somehow can just fix it up, I don't know what the players got to do, but the high line, that's the only negative, right? I think at times we saw the very good against Como when the whole team's pressing. Maybe Fermin Lopez has to start because he was pressing very well, but also, I don't know. I'm just not 100% convinced on the high line overall. I don't know what it is. I don't know what Hansi Flick's got to do. That's a problem for him to fix, but that's the 5 things that I wanted to address. Guys, let me know in the comments down below if you guys agree, disagree, smash up the likes, subscribe to the channel. If you have a take, if you have an opinion, let me know down below. I'll see y'all soon. Peace. Visca Barça.